What is up, everybody? Coach Juma here, and today we're going to be breaking down the step-by-step progression that I take with all my clients to get to doing a pull-up. This is something that a lot of people seek to do. It's a great feat of personal strength, but also it has a lot of benefits for your overall health as well. Being able to do a pull-up can save your life if you're hanging off a cliff or doing something like that. So if you're in those situations often, this is a skill you need to have.
I think me and you are in that situation a lot.
Dude, always.
100%.
Remember last week when we did I couldn't believe it. It happened again. Right?
Cool.
Yeah, it was insane. But yeah, so much needed skill, yeah. Honestly, ever since you learned to do a pull-up, it's been...
And my options for my sexual market value, they tripled.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm married, but I'm joking. I'm joking.
Man,
for the love of God, I'm joking. I'm joking.
But before we tell you how to do a pull-up and the best ways to get there, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you always get caught up with the newest video that we are putting out each and every week. Turn on the notification bell so you're alerted when those videos come out. Now, getting into pull-ups, there's a few things that are needed for you to properly perform a pull-up. One is the muscular strength to do it. Second is the neurological capacity to do it. Starting with the muscular strength to do it, you need to have a baseline amount of strength with your forearms, biceps, and lats to pull yourself up. Without that strength, you're not gonna be able to pull yourself up, obviously. So the best way to do that is really focusing on two key things. One is improving your grip strength, because you can have the lat strength to pull yourself up, the back strength to pull yourself up, but if you can't hold onto the bar long enough to pull yourself up, you're gonna be falling down halfway up and you're not gonna save yourself from falling off the cliff. Easy ways to improve grip strength is by holding onto a bar and just hanging on as long as you can, really actively squeezing the bar the entire time. So maybe you're squeezing the bar, hanging onto it, but you can't hold off of it even with no weight. Maybe you hold on to a lower bar, right? And you're using your legs to carry some of the weight. So you're squatted a bit of the way, so you're not carrying your full body weight, but you're still able to hold yourself up to a degree. That can be really helpful. But the key here is squeezing as long as you can, really holding on to it, and improving your grip strength that way. Another way is by doing plate squeezes and heavy farmer's carries. So farmer's carries, if you don't know, is where you hold two dumbbells or kettlebells to your side and you're just walking with them the entire time. Ideally, if you have thick dumbbells or a bigger kettlebell, that would work best because it's really challenging your forearm strength and your hands to squeeze that for a period of time. But really, any kind of weight works. As long as you can handle the load and move forward with it, that'll be a good weight to use. The other one I said was plate squeezes, and it's basically where you take the plate and you squeeze it just like this, and you hold that the entire time. You're not holding it by the handle, you're holding it just by the round part of the plate. Slowly, gradually increase weight. Doing that, you're gonna be building your grip strength. Of course, a combination of these is gonna be best, but generally speaking, building your grip strength is key to doing a pull-up. The next thing you want to do is strengthen your lats, and you want to do this in a couple ways. The pull-up / chin-up that you want to accomplish is a combination of a lat pull-down movement and a rowing movement a lot of the time. So you want to strengthen your lats by doing dumbbell rows and using heavy weights doing the dumbbell rows, really getting a good stretch and contraction with your back. And with lat pull-down, same kind of idea. You want to focus on doing the full contraction and getting the full stretch at the top. Both of these are meant to strengthen the muscle that is going to be used when doing a pull-up. The lat pull down translates a little better to the actual movement, but it's still not improving the neurological side of things that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So making sure that your pull day / upper body workouts have a good foundation of all those movements is going to help you out, both for the back strengthening and for the grip strengthening. As you continue to progress through that and get stronger with all of those different movements, that's going to again help build the muscular strength you need to do a pull-up, but it does not help with making the neurological gains that you need to get better at pulling up. And all that means is actually practicing the movement of a pull-up so you know how it works. Again, like I said, the lat pull-down is going to be similar to doing a pull-up, right? You would think it's the same thing because you're holding onto the bar, you're pulling it down. It looks like a pull-up but sitting down, but really the mechanism of pulling yourself up is way different than pulling something else down, and you won't get better. I've known several people that can lat pull down their own body weight but not be able to do a pull-up. It's a very common thing that a lot of people experience, and you probably experience as well. You need to practice the actual pull-up first and foremost in order to get better at pulling yourself up. There's a number of ways to do this, and it's a progression to get better at it. Where most people turn to and how most people start is by doing the assisted pull-up machine where they're kneeling on it or standing on it and pulling themselves up. I really don't like that method just because it doesn't challenge or work your stabilizing muscles, and it feels the same across the entire time. So at no point does the pull-up become easier for you to pull. You're pulling the same kind of resistance the entire time, when in reality, the hardest part of a pull-up is the top half, right? The bottom half of pulling yourself up is pretty easy. So instead, what I like to do is utilize resistance bands to practice pulling yourself up. So tying a resistance bands to the pull-up bar that you're going to be using, and then putting the other end around your knee or around your feet so that it helps pull you up, but you're pulling more of your weight up toward the top half of the movement. This helps you get better at the actual finish of a pull-up while working on the control and movement of going through putting your shoulders and elbows in this position to pull yourself up. You want to start off with the grip position that's easiest for you. This wide position with your palms pronated, palms facing forward, is the most difficult position. You get the least amount of accessory muscle help. So your biceps don't really work too much. Other back muscles aren't really working too much either. I always like to start with the easiest pull-up movement first, and then you can progress to the wider grip. The easier movements are going to be either the supinated grip, which is a chin-up variation, or a semi-supinated grip, where your palms are facing each other. And depending on how wide your shoulders are, the narrow semi-supinated grip might be better for you than the wider semi-supinated grip, or vice versa. But choose whichever one is easiest for you to do with those resistance bands, and start with working on that one first, and then progressing through the different patterns afterwards. So there's a lot of different band strengths, right? The thicker bands are going to help you go up and down easier than the thinner bands. Starting off with a thick band that helps you do 10 or so reps of pull-ups is a good starting point. And then working to decrease the resistance of that band until you can get 3 sets of 10 with each one is a smart and novel way to progress through it as well. So starting with a really heavy band that can take up 80 pounds of your weight, 3 sets of 10, full extension, arms straightened out, and then back down pull-up movements. Then you go to the 60-pound band, right? And work your way up until you can get 3 sets of 10 of that, and keep working your way down from there. Another thing that really helps is pull-up negatives. So this is where you are doing the bottom half of a pull-up. So you're not pulling yourself up, but you're slowing yourself from coming down. And how I like to do this is by going on the pull-up bar that you want to use with the grip variation that you want to do, and jumping to the top. Maybe you get a box to jump off of, but you jump to the top and hold yourself here for a second, really engaging your lats. You're putting all the tension in your back and going down as slow as you can until your arms are fully straightened out. Doing that for as many reps as you can. Once you get to the top and you just fall down, that means you hit failure and you're done for the day. Practicing the negative is really key because it helps the neurological side of things. It helps you muscularly as well. And it helps you practice using your own body weight as opposed to just using the band, which is going to have you using a reduced amount of your body weight. Having both of these in your program is really important to progress to doing a pull-up effectively. From here, it's just progressing week by week until you're able to hit your first pull-up. You want to do these as the first part of your pull day, the first part of your upper body day, because this is a priority. You want to be fresh. You don't want to be worn out practicing these movements or getting better at these movements. You want to have as much strength as possible to work through them. So making these the first 2 exercises that you do every pull day for the next month, for the next 2 months, will help you progress through this much faster. Going through the progression where you're doing 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 6, 3 sets of 12, any of those I really like to do for resistance bands pull-up, and then doing 3 to 4 sets of failure for pull-up negatives will help you out. Keep track of how many reps you're doing for negative, right? If you're going to failure, you're doing as many as you can. It's not a set number of reps. You want to be aware and mindful of how many reps you're doing each and every week. Ideally, you should be getting stronger. You should be able to do more reps each and every week. So maybe the first week you did 3 sets of negatives and you had 4 reps, 3 reps, and 2 reps. Those were your failure numbers. The week after that, you're going to do 3 sets again, but this time you're ideally trying to get stronger. So you want to do at least 1 extra rep than the week before. Once you can get 10 solid negatives and you're at a really light band for pull-ups, I think you're safe to try doing a pull-up or attempting a pull-up on your own. Once you could do 1 pull-up, then you open the ground for yourself to do a lot more to expand and get multiple reps of pull-ups. The most effective way to increase pull-up strength after you got your first pull-up, or rather pull-up endurance, I suppose I should say, where you can do multiple reps in a set, is by setting a rep goal and trying to do it in as few sets as possible. So if you're only doing 1 pull-up at a time right now, maybe 2, right? I think most people will start by doing 1 or 2. Shifting to a rep-based model instead of a set-based model will help get the most out of your pull-ups. And what I mean by that is maybe we start off doing 10 reps of pull-ups and you're trying to do it in as few sets as possible. So you do 2 pull-ups and that's the most you could do in 1 set. Then you take a break. Then you do another 2. That's the most you could do. Take a break. You repeat that 5 times. That's 5 sets. It took you 5 sets to do 10 pull-ups. The next week, maybe you can do 3 pull-ups the first set, then 2 pull-ups the next set, then 2 pull-ups the next set, and then 1 pull-up the next 2 sets. It still took 5 sets to get you to 10 pull-ups. You were able to hit 3 on the first round, right? And then the next week, you're able to do 3 and then 3 and then 2, 2. And now you had 4 sets. So you're slowly getting stronger. Your endurance is improving. You're able to do more pull-ups per set. That's the ultimate goal here. You keep progressing through this 10 rep for as little sets as possible until you can get 10 reps of pull-ups in 3 sets. So that would ideally look like 4 reps, 3 reps, 3 reps. That would equal 10. Then I would add 5 reps to your total and repeat the process. So now you're working on 15 reps and getting it in as few sets as possible and progressing through that for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, during this time period, if you're focused on performance, you're focused on getting stronger, what you do in the gym is really important. This progression plan is key to helping you get stronger, but you need to fuel yourself for this training as well. So making sure you're eating at or near caloric maintenance, if not at a surplus, if you're not actively in a fat loss phase, is going to be your best bet. Otherwise, you won't have enough energy to do these pull-ups and go through the progression appropriately. Recapping things here, 2 things you want to work on: the neurological proficiency and improving how you're able to do the movement pattern, and improving the muscular strength. If you have no muscular strength right now, going through and strengthening your overall back musculature is going to be really helpful. Improving your grip strength is also going to be really key throughout this process as well. So having your training for upper body days and pull days, if you're doing one or the other, be mostly built on dumbbell rows, body weight rows / inverted rows, lat pull downs, etc. will be really helpful. That has to be a bulk of your training, and you have to get stronger with it each and every week. Same thing with grip strength, focusing on just hanging off the bar and squeezing the bar as tight as you can, doing farmer's walks and squeezing the bar as tight as you can, or doing plate pinches and just holding the weights to your side as long as you can. All will improve your grip strength over time. Once you get a good baseline of strength, using your resistance bands to help with the neurological side of things, to help you actually do the pull-up movement, will be the next best thing for you to do. And doing that on a set and rep basis of either 3x6, 3x8, 3x10, 3x12, anywhere in that range, getting stronger each and every time, increasing reps slowly week to week with the same band, and then swapping to a lighter band for you to get stronger as the main progression here, while also doing pull-up negatives as well to improve your strength and motor learning of the movement. From there, you continue to progress through that for 4-week, 5-week period. Depending on your starting point, it can take as little as 4 weeks, it could take as much as 10 weeks. But in this 4 to 10 week period, you will ultimately get to the point where you're doing 1 pull-up. And from there, now it's just practicing to do more pull-ups at any one time. So setting a rep goal instead of a set goal, getting to that number of reps in as few sets as possible. And whenever you hit 3 sets for that rep goal, increasing the reps by 5 and repeating forward. And at this point, once you're able to get 15 pull-ups with an easy grip variation, you can switch to a more difficult variation and continue to progress that way. So if you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, share this with a friend that also wants to do a pull-up. And if you have any questions, comment them down below so I can help you out and get you to your first pull-up. But until next time, stay stupid.